All right, welcome to Day and Night Podcast, beautiful people. This is your host, Matthew, episode number 101. Hopefully, everybody enjoying themselves, having a good weekend. It's a beautiful weekend down here in beautiful old Georgia. But we got another good show for y'all today. Hopefully, everybody likes it. So just sit back, chill, relax, enjoy the show. Kick it over to Mark, co host in San Antonio.
Well, hey, I just want to say what's up, everybody. Welcome to the show. Like Matt was saying, it's beautiful here. It's actually cool in San Antonio. So it's like beautiful fall weather, which is rare here in San Antonio. So it actually feels good. I was driving with my windows down, and that's rare. So it's a beautiful day, another day off, thank goodness. So I'm blessed for that. Had a couple of clients this morning training, so it was a good day so far. So I'm looking forward to today's show. Like always, you always have good ones to talk about. I feel like it's important. This one in particular because it affects everybody. Not that any other topics did, but this one's more or less what we going into in this world. Going forward, the way society is, gearing up the transition. So on that note, I just want to say like, subscribe, leave a comment, and appreciate you guys. You know who you are. Y'all regulars on here. Y'all always check us out, leave comments, interact. That's important. So like always, appreciate you. Much gratitude. But anyway, say less. I'm gonna let you go ahead and kick it off, and then like I always do, piggyback off of you have to say.
All right, all right, all right. All right. So, like Mark said, this is a good one. Feel as though it's something that's important. Um, I don't know if it's just my algorithm that brings it up a lot, but as far as the robots, so that's what the title is: Robot Takeover. I feel as though it's coming. Um, I don't know if everybody's heard, but apparently, I think it's was Elon Musk just put on the market his robot, and I believe it's a ridiculous amount. It's like what, $3,200 or 3,000. Anyway, it's pretty expensive for this robot, and basically it does everything. It cooks, it cleans, it can watch your children. I don't think they're driving yet, but as far as just being able to function somewhat like a human. And the crazy thing for me is the first thing I thought about was iRobot because
Yeah.
when they first started off, it was more so like the higher class people, the ones that could really afford it, because these robots are really, really expensive. So the average Joe is not going to be able to purchase one unless they got like the knockoff robots, and they're going to be like ghetto-fied robots and stuff like that, or people got the generic ones where they don't do as much as the other one, or they malfunction more than the other ones. So I'm pretty sure somebody's going to have counterfeit robots at some point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just like Mark said, this is something that's really, really important. I don't like to spread fear or to start fear mongering, but is this something just to pay attention to? I think it's a foreshadow of that movie, I Robot, of what's to come. And then you had the Terminator way back in the 80s and stuff like that. Now the funny thing is, the lady that actually wrote the Terminator and the Matrix. I don't know if you ever heard who she is, Mark, but she
Yeah.
actually said that the Matrix was the beginning
Pretty cool. Yeah.
before Terminator. So that
Mm-hmm.
was like the prequel to Terminator.
Yeah.
And I mean, to me, like I said, I don't want to spread any fear, but my personal opinion, I believe that they're trying to do away with humans. I think they're trying to do away with a particular group of people. And that's something to seriously think about, because if these robots can do what they claim they can do, they can basically make a nationality or race, whatever you want to call it, non existent if they wanted to. Because if they can put these robots in the place of humans as far as working, doing everything that we do, why would you even need people? I mean, it's just something to seriously think about. If you have the money and the power to build these robots to function just as a human, if not better, you can literally wipe out a whole race of people because you can replace it with these robots. So for me, that's something to really pay attention to. I don't think it's something just to take lightly. It's a serious matter. And again, I don't want to spread fear, but I think it's something we should really, really start paying attention to. So, Mark, I'm curious what your perspective is on it. I don't know if you watched the video I sent you.
No, actually, I didn't get a chance to. I'm guilty, but I did see the young lady you were talking about, the creator of both Matrix. I saw that she was on a show or something. She was talking about it, so I do know who she is. But yeah, you stole my take because I was going to say the same exact thing that iRobot to me trumps all these other forecast movies or idealistic movies what they portray as the futuristic the way robots are going to be. And to me, I feel like it's coming. I know it's coming. Obviously, you just said it that he put one of the robots out in the market. So I'm kind of mixed with it though. I ain't gonna lie. I do agree they trying to take out certain group of people. They got a plan, an agenda. Um, but I'm kind of on the fence with it because working where I work at in the industry, I can see why they would want robots to take over. Now, it's going to sound like I'm contradicting myself because it's like that's taken away from me to be able to work and do that as well because that's a robot replacing me as well. But I watch people and I see how people are getting, I ain't going to say everybody, it's the vast majority of people that's just lazy. They don't want to do nothing. They want to get paid, but they don't want to work. So I can see where all these businesses are trying to transition and replace human for robots for the simple fact that it gets rid of human error, right? Where people, like I said, want to be lazy, or I've just watched people at work where they do things where it's like, what was you thinking? And it's causing the company money. So they thinking, well, we get a robot that do twice as much, more efficient, more disciplined to where they don't have to worry about dealing with the human characteristic of it, which is crazy because that's who we are. We're going to have days like that where it's going to be conflict with issues. But because we're in this era with computers is the thing, is just slowly making us become, I ain't gonna say obsolete, but not as sufficient or as important or an asset as these robots are. Because again, the robots probably cost thousands of money, but they looking at how much more productive wise, these robots going to be versus a human. Now, like I said, I'm on the fence because where I go against it is just like in the movie I, Robot, how Will was against robots on how the robots don't have a human characteristic to do a think and have empathy, like when the girl died and the robot saved him instead of the girl, right? Because
Right.
the percentage. And that's
The
the
analytic.
downside. Robots go more by percentage, so they don't have that human characteristic
Right.
of doing something the right way,
Hmm.
thinking on that aspect. So I see it coming because in my job, workplace, it's a lot of technology that's being implemented. And I can see how it's going to make a lot of people lose jobs because what are you going to need us for when it does everything that we do and then more? So it's kind of crazy, but like anything is going to have its good and its bad about it. So that's why I feel like it's going to be a plus, but it's going to be a negative because, like you said, it's going to slowly take away a certain race because they're going to put them robots in that place to be able to be more efficient, just like I just said. So I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, that's crazy. That'll never happen until it happens. And then people are going to realize. So I get it. It's going to be some people that just don't believe it. They feel like humans are always going to be the number one
Hmm.
uh, head of the snake, if you want to say head of the snake. But I don't see that. That's why I really love science fiction movies, and that's why I love Terminator
Hmm.
because I think that Matrix or those two movies that will kind of put in perspective on how life would be if the robots get to that point, which I think they are, because there's some robots that are already as intelligent as humans and do stuff like a human would do without the empathy and all that. So it's crazy. I mean, I'm gonna get more into it, but I just wanted to start off with that how I feel about. I'm on the fence with it.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit with touch on KJ's comment. She said it's it's a whole class of people that could be wiped out. 100%. That's what me and Mark was just talking about. And then she says computers can malfunction too. That's true. Now, this is the flip side to it. Now, this is what I mean, I'm pretty older now. I'm what, we 51 going on 52, but it's still never too late to learn. I have knowledge of computers, but robotics, I think now we should really start pushing our children and our people into robotics, analytics, and stuff like that. Because it's like KJ said, that's a good point. Computers malfunction too. So when these things start malfunctioning, they're gonna need somebody to repair them. Now, rather they have another robot to do it. So if one robot go down, they just have one that's functioning, fix it. That's one approach they could use. But even if that don't work, if it does have a failure because they putting so much money and stuff into it, they're gonna need somebody to fix them. So I think that's something we definitely should be looking into, and more so the younger people. Like I said, start pushing them into like, hey, take a class, get up to speed as much as you can on robotics and analytics and computers and stuff like that, because it's going to be in such a high demand to have those people on hand if one of those things do go down or if they malfunction. So I just wanted to put that out there because KJ brought that up. Um, and it's funny because I was sitting here listening to what you were saying, like you kind of on a fence on it with it because how the people you see at work, and I'm 100% with you on that too. And the sad thing is, I'm pretty sure the people that's making these, like Musk, is probably thinking the same thing. Like a lot of these people are, and I want to say useless, but they're not really bringing anything to the table to society other than spending money, which is good. But if we can wipe that class out or wipe that group of people out and replace it with something else that will save us money because we don't have to pay the robots. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to worry about them shooting each other because
Right.
it's all analytics, it's all logic. So you want to have less to worry about crime. You won't have to worry about somebody stealing something. You know, if they want you to be done with work, they shut them down. Okay, it's time to leave.
Right.
Work is done. They don't have to worry about, well, I got to go home and I got to leave early because I got to pick up my kid from school and, emergency came up or whatever the case is. That they're going and to really, really, really take into consideration as far as how that can have an impact. Um, and I was watching something else. It was like a talk show, and they had a panel and stuff. I forget her name. It was the black female, a comedian? I can't remember her name. I think it was Adele. But anyway, she was talking about, well, if I'm going to be paying that much for a robot, he's going to have to do something else too. And they was joking, what, yeah, they're going to have some robots that can please you in the bed too. And it was joking around like, well, can you imagine? That's when things going to change. If you come home and you catch your spouse or significant other in the bed with a robot, then that's when they're going to start wanting to kick these things out. But anyway, they was going back and forth about how they won't leave their children with these robots, and just to think about how crazy that is. But there's another thing too, like the cars. I don't know if you've seen this. I don't know if it was a hoax or if somebody was just making up stuff, but supposedly it was somewhere, I want to say in Arizona or Texas, but they had an empty lot and there was a whole bunch of Teslas driving by themselves and parking by themselves.
Yeah.
And it was kind of sort of like that movie that came out with Ethan Hawke, Left Behind.
Oh, Leave the World Behind?
Yeah, Leave the World Behind. So some
Yeah.
people is, putting out the conspiracy theory. It's practice. They're trying to figure out how many cars they can get in one spot, and if they can actually operate it to a point to where they can operate it to where it won't have any hindrances from people or whatever the case is. But it was crazy because you could actually see the cars driving with nobody in it, and it was literally parking themselves.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't want to put fear, but it's for me, I think it's going to be more of a bad thing than a good thing. I don't see anything good coming out of it just because of the history of a certain group of people. I see them doing more bad with it than good. I just don't see
Right.
anything beneficial from it. Now, if you have somebody that have a robot at home because they got both parties working at the house and they don't have time to clean or whatever the case is, from that sense,
Right.
I get it. But if you're talking about putting these robots in the workforce, I don't see anything good behind it because they could literally put people back into slavery
Yeah.
and have these robots in control.
Right.
So me, I don't think it's good. I don't see anything positive coming from it as far as from a citizen perspective. But as far as a business owner, yeah, because like I was just saying, you
Yeah.
cut back on money, you cut back
Right.
on resources. Um, so your production would be doubled. You know,
Mm-hmm.
your output would be doubled. So I don't know. I just don't think it's a good thing. You said you on the fence with it. I don't see anything positive from it at all.
Right. Yeah, well, that's what I mean when I'm on the fence, like you just said. Anybody business owner wise, it'll benefit them. Like I was saying, it wouldn't benefit me because they're taking my job.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I say I'm on the fence is because I watch how people are nowadays, and that's where it's almost, I dare I say, damn, these damn people now. I won't blame them why a robot would take this person's job. Because this person I want to come to work or they're leaving is this one guy. I love him to death. He's a hard worker, but the dude go to the bathroom literally like every 5 minutes. He about this tall. And I'm like, bro, how do you go to the bathroom? I never see you drink water, but he's always going to the bathroom every 5 minutes. But the point I'm making out of that is when we run production. So we go by PPH, which is pieces per hour. So we have to hit that quota. So one person, because we work on assembly, can affect everybody,
Mm-hmm.
one person. So this dude, and this is the crazy part. I'm gonna try not to make this a long story, but we have what you call downtime, where one of the machines break and maintenance got to come and fix it. For some reason, this Joker will literally stand there, and we all be talking and conversating, and he will not go to the bathroom as soon as we get the machines working. For this Joker, for some reason, in his mind, he thinks it's okay to go to the bathroom when we start working. Well, we just had 30 minutes and he had nothing to do but stand there. But as soon as we start working, this Joker goes and go to the bathroom. So the point I'm making is, and I remember my boss told me this when I was a manager. He said, you're always going to want people that's going to be an asset or a liability. And he said, you can have your best worker killing it, good at production, but the dude, even like this guy I'm talking about, always running back and forth, leaving the line, putting us at a strain, or a guy that calls in 2 days out of the week. He said, as good as he is, he's becoming a liability because he's costing us the company money and he costing us production. So the point
Mm-hmm.
I'm making that's why I say that I'm on the fence with the robotic part of it is they looking at it as an asset or liability. People are a liability for the simple
Mm-hmm.
fact our human characteristics. We ain't at fault because that's what makes us human. But I'm just saying that's where I kind of being in the business of working and where I'm at, that's where I see, you know what,
Yeah.
it probably would be better to have robots in here because these jokers walking around or they talking or they doing stuff that's caused and affecting us to be productive. So that's the only reason why. Because like you just said, Matt, any other way as a citizen is not going to be positive because it's taking stuff away from us. Or
Mm-hmm.
as they say, is keeping us from eating because now we have to, depend on them, the robots, and that's going to take our place to be able to provide or make
Yeah.
a living for ourselves. So that's the only reason why I'm on the fence with that. But other than that, yeah, it's not going to be nothing positive because they're going to wind up getting to the point where they're going to be the superior, and you can't fight them because they're gonna be metal. So to
Yeah.
me, I would see it to where you said it's gonna be a takeover. And it's funny
Hmm.
because I always think of that movie, I Robot. I just see that movie literally seeing that's how it will be in years to come. Because,
Hmm.
like you said, they have robots cooking in the kitchen or house cleaning, and they're going to start taking a role of a human because
Hmm.
now they develop, and like that one guy did, the doctor. And that's what I love when you make that point about it's going to be people out there that's going to use that as a benefit to
Hmm.
manipulate those robots. And what did he do? He gave the robots, what did he give them? The program to
Yeah.
feel and be
Hmm.
empathy with people. So I think that's going to be the downside, where they're going to have robots first, just primarily to do what they're supposed to, but there's going to be a joker out there, wealthy, that's going to say, you know what, let's program these jokers to think like us, move like us, and we can move away a certain class of
Hmm.
people because they're going to take those people place. So like you said, I think fear, I would say, is awareness, is what I would
Hmm.
say, because people need to be aware that it's coming. Maybe for us, because we older now, it may not affect us as much, but my grandson, Hakeem, is definitely going to affect him.
Oh yeah.
And Scarlett, those are the ones that's going to really be dealing with it. Like,
Hmm.
we're going to get the taste of it. We're going to have to deal with a little bit of it. We ain't that old, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be definitely in their era when they are age.
Right.
They're going to be living that life for real.
Now, you know what the crazy thing is? There was another video I was watching. Like I said, it must have been my algorithm because I was just getting bombarded with a whole bunch of robot stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In China, these robots they look like humans. So
Yeah.
they're a lot more advanced than what Musk has. Now,
Mm-hmm.
some people were saying like that's not real. That's a person in there. It's fake or whatever the case is because they look that realistic.
Mm-hmm.
And they were moving around and stuff. And you couldn't really tell which one was a human or which one was a robot.
Right.
And it was one guy talking to the robot, and he was like, "So, what is it about you as a robot? The one thing that you feel as though that you're not there yet, as far as on the same level as a human?" He said, "Well, we haven't learned how." He said, "Well, I haven't learned how to." Um, what he said, I haven't learned how to take on empathy or to learn how to feel. And he said, I'm
Yeah.
currently trying to learn that. Now,
Right.
that's the scary thing is because once they do learn that and become empathetic, whatever the case is, now some might say that might be better because if they actually can get on the level of a human with empathy and sympathy, then it will be less likely for them to harm another human because they can empathize, if a parent loses a child, what that may feel
Mm-hmm.
like. So they'll be less likely, to try to terminate a
Right.
human. So from that sense, I can see it being a good thing if they was able to actually feel. But
Mm-hmm.
then this is the other thing I was thinking about and you was just talking. Now, what if you get these people out here, because it is a program, it's a computer. You got
Yeah.
these people that's out here as smart as a whiz. They start
Yeah.
hacking these things.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Yeah.
start getting, controlling them and having them
Right.
doing what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think that the amount of stuff that could happen is
Right.
limitless. Like you can
Right.
run wild with your thoughts as far as what can happen, what might not happen.
Right.
Um, so like I said, I'm trying not to go there, but
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's just more of how bad it's going to be than good.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was seriously like the whole week I was just sitting there trying to find like something
Yeah.
positive to take
Right.
from it and how it could be
Mm-hmm.
beneficial.
Yeah.
Um, unless I'm a warehouse owner or
Yeah.
a truck driver owner or something
Mm-hmm.
like that, somebody that's in mass production or even customer service,
Yeah.
I don't see the benefit from it. So unless you're
Yeah.
not a business owner,
Yeah.
that's not a good thing. So I guess the best thing is getting in the business on your own, and then you'll have a
Yeah.
different perspective. And
Right.
that's something also to start looking into as far as like hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to start replacing doctors
Right.
with these robots? Because this is in the works too. They're trying to get it to the point to where they can actually perform surgery.
Mm.
Now, this is where the sympathy and empathy comes in, because if you have, like, for pediatrics, you have sick
Hmm.
children coming in and they are not at the level to empathize and
Right.
sympathize with children and what they may feel like or what they're going through, then that could be a
Mhm.
challenge. But I mean, you could literally wipe out the human race if you really wanted to. Like, if you seriously
Yeah.
sit back and think, well, you can really literally, like, well, I don't know, because it's 18 billion people in the world.
Yeah.
Maybe not the entire human race, but you can limit it to a point to where is our dependability would be so much on not just robots but technology in itself.
Hmm.
It would be really, really challenging to function. So I know you say you see it more like iRobot. I see it more like Terminator.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, both
Like
of
when
them.
he
Yeah.
went back in time and it was the war and stuff, he was going back to
Yeah.
get John Connor. That's how I
Right.
see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see some mastermind that wanted to just take over and tear stuff up, and he's going to control the robots in that aspect.
Mhm. Yeah. I say iRobot would be more like in the next 20 years, right? And I say Terminator be 30, 40 years is going to be literally like that, where the robot's going to look human because they're going to be what they call TV shows that come on called synthetics. And
Yeah.
it's just like you was just stating earlier about how they look human, they move, they touch and all that and feel. And one of those synthetics actually got programmed to have feelings. She was the only one. This was a foreign movie though. It was based in Germany or some crap. And this synthetic had feelings, and she, what you said earlier, had sex with the wife's husband,
I
and she
saw that.
got
I
pissed
think I know
off.
what you're
It
talking about.
kicked yeah, it kicked her out or whatever,
Yeah.
and she went and became a rebel or whatever. So I can see that. Now, what like you were saying, well, you was a minute ago, you said how it wiped out a whole human race. I would say you made the comment earlier. It'll be a new form of slavery. It'll be human slavery where the robots will be in control, just
Mm-hmm.
like iRobot. That's what I'm saying. I just see that movie being within the next 20 years. Remember when they all got programmed and the lights
Yeah.
went red from blue,
Yeah.
and they started putting us in the and walking and putting us in line to
Yeah.
go, I think, to those trailers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that I can see that like tomorrow because where I work at, we don't have the actual robots that's moving around, but the robot machines think for itself.
Mm-hmm.
What they just implemented is called Plex. And
Yeah.
it is so crazy how the line we work on, with the one lady at, she's called a catcher, where she catches the parts at the end. And she walks up to me and tell me, "Hey, you gotta replace the bolts or whatever because it's out." I said, "How the hell you know that?" She said, "The computer told me." I said, "No, it didn't. How does it know when I'm almost out, literally
Right.
based off of how we moving?" But she walked
Mm-hmm.
me up there and showed me, and the computer literally said, "You're almost out. You need to replace where I was in cell number 4 is what it's called. You're
Mm-hmm.
at 20 left." And it just tripped me out how accurate it was. And it talks to you, it has a voice command or whatever. So,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, it's not an actual robot, but it's just the technology is mind boggling how it thinks and knows, and it has sensor, it can sense when somebody's not in the station. It's crazy
Mm-hmm.
the capabilities of it. So, this is something like you said is real, that is already in the works, and not to, like you said, put fear, but it's just to keep people aware and understand what's coming in the future. How you going to handle that?
Mm-hmm.
What you going to do to change that, or at least educate yourself on it so you be prepared for it. I mean, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I guess some people will feel like, well, what can we do when it's going to happen? It's just going to happen. But hey, I just like to know what's going on before
Right.
instead of being surprised. Some people, I guess, don't mind getting surprised. I don't. Not all the time. Not on certain things, anyway.
But you know what? There was a just sit back thing. There was a couple of movies I watched, and
Mm-hmm.
like I'm more or less into the robots that China has because it looks so
Yeah.
human. And
Right.
I don't know if it's the same movie that you saw, but there was another one similar to it. It was like I
Uh-huh.
was watching 2, 3 movies in a row. It's like about robots taking over. They look like
Right.
human, and I think one
Uh-huh.
was Mark Wahlberg was in one of the movies. And the crazy thing is, he was chasing himself or somebody else, and he thought they were the robots.
Okay,
In
yeah, yeah,
actuality, he was the robot. So he was
right.
living a life as a human, but he was actually a robot. It wasn't until
Robot,
I
yeah.
think towards the middle or the end, he got
Mm-hmm.
hit or got shot or something like that. And then he
Yeah,
found out he was a robot and he was like all distraught. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe this.
yeah.
So that's what I'm looking at as far as when they can get them to the point to where they look so human and you can't even tell if they're
Mm-hmm.
human or not.
Right.
And there was another movie whereas the whole race of people were human, but the robots was trying to take over because the humans
Mm.
was putting them basically or using them as slaves. Like they was having them do stuff, and they was like, "No,
Oh,
we
okay,
move
yeah,
and
yeah.
function just like you do. We want to have our
Right.
own society."
Mm-hmm.
And they actually built the army and rebels and stuff like that. When watching the movie, you think the humans
Mm.
are the robots, but the robots were the humans. It was backwards. And it
Okay,
messed
okay.
me up because like, damn, all that time I thought it was the humans fighting for freedom, but it was the
Right. The
robots
robot.
fighting for
Yeah,
freedom. And I think
right.
towards the end they got on this train and they was going off somewhere else to find somewhere else that it was going to be free at. It was a pretty good movie, but at the time I
Mm.
wasn't really thinking about it because I just thought it was an entertaining movie. But
Right.
now with all this stuff coming out with all these robots and they actually have them functioning
Mm-hmm.
and they actually people are purchasing them now. That's when I was like,
Yeah.
damn, it's time to get serious and really look at this. Um,
Yeah.
because it's not something to just ignore because
Mm-hmm.
it can affect us, you know. Now,
Mm-hmm.
this is the one positive thing that I do see from it
Yeah.
because then that kind of would have to put us as one, as a people, as a human race.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they were ever to get to a point to where as robots really start to take over, then it would truly
Right.
be the human race versus the robots. And then you have no choice but to stick together regardless what the person looked like. So in
Mm-hmm.
that sense, I could see that being positive because now you have to work together because if not,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's going to be wiped out. You know what I mean? So that's the one positive I
Yeah.
would take from that.
Yeah. Or you might have the ones that wanna you can't beat them, join them, and, and coincide with the robots, try to be on the good side so they can live a good life and then enslave the humans. You know, and that sounds silly, but I really think it would come to that. So where you're gonna have some people that might do that, you know, but at the end of the day, yeah, it would be more logical to fight for the human rights to try to keep us to be able to live as we are instead of being, you know, forced into living in some type of way. But I mean, it's something that's coming. Like I said, I think you hit the nail on the head in the beginning, where you was like teach your kids to be able to learn how to be a programmer or a technician, someone that know how to fix these,
Mhm.
because that's going to be to me the dominant uh way of living. I'm
Yep.
gonna say about 30, 40 years. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because everything you do, when you think about it, like you said, they're gonna slowly try to implement robots into that because the business part of it they're looking at as being more efficient, more
Mm-hmm.
productive, and that's where they're going to try to, you know, move out 86 humans, you know, human jobs and stuff. So it's something that's definitely real and it's coming. I guess some people may feel like, well, they ain't here yet, so they ain't worried about it until it actually happens. But again, there's nothing wrong with being prepared or ready or just, you know, aware of it, you know, just so you know, FYI, you know.
You know what?
So,
Getting back to that point you just made, as far as what I said earlier, as far as about the children actually learning robotics and like you said, programming, what is the most or the number one thing that most young people are trying to do now? Everybody's getting into it.
oh, cybersecurity.
Not that, but social media and being an
Oh,
influencer.
social media. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's true.
So it's crazy because that can be done like that. That can be over and done with. If you don't have no real skill, and
Mm-hmm.
they do away with this social media or get it to the point to where you can't function off of it or survive off of it, what are these young people going to be left to, to do, especially if the robots are in place, you know, and this is no knock on any profession, but like with a lot of the industrial type jobs, that's where the robots they're going to probably implement first. So those are going to be the first ones where the jobs is going to be wiped out. So if those jobs are taken and these young people don't have an education and they can't even get these jobs where it doesn't require education, they literally going to be left out in the cold. Yeah. And those are the ones that they can manipulate, use, slave, or whatever the case is. So it's a lot that people really have to take in consideration with this and like really, really say, okay, this is if one thing we need to push back on and make sure it doesn't get overboard with as far as getting out of control is this. And something that KJ said makes sense. I don't even think about it. She said the real question is who's controlling the robots and who can turn them off. That's the other part that's challenging because, like she said, somebody is going to have to control. That's a whole lot of damn robots if it ever get to a mass production size.
Right.
That person literally basically will feel like God because they have control of, a mass of beings, so to speak, and they can do whatever they want to do with it. Right. That's another thing. Like that's exactly. Is it going to be something that we, as the public, has a say in as far as how they function, how often they function? So it's a lot that goes into this. Yeah, it's interesting for me.
Yeah, I mean, what was I going to say? Yeah, so when KJ said that, yeah, who controls them? That to me, that would be some big corporation that obviously had the power and the finances to do it. But I'm kind of thinking, far long term and keep thinking a little bit. I want to say outside the box, but I guess you would say even conspiracy theorists in a sense where somebody's going to be crazy enough or creative enough to try to give them robots a personality, a program where these robots again going to get to the point where they're thinking where they're going to take over, and then they're going to take over. The human won't even be able to control it no more because there's going to be some genius out there that's going to have some reason to think. Let's give these robots a brain to think and act and react as a human would. And that's why I guess I'm getting this idea from iRobot is where, again, that guy, the doctor, programmed the robots to think for themselves. And that's the whole downside is those robots start thinking for themselves and then they started taking over. So I think until it gets to that point, I think, like KJ said, it's going to be some mastermind that's going to be controlling them, which is going to still be an issue. But I'm thinking what happens when it's that genius, like I said, that's going to want to give these robots. That's going to be the main concern, I think. I don't see it happen no time soon, but it will come when there's going to be somebody out there that's going to want to program them that way. But for me personally, I think it's going to be one of them big corporations that's going to be, behind it, masterminds behind it that's going to control them. And there's going to be some genius in there that's going to be feeling themselves, that's going to want to take it that extra mile, that godlike mentality to think they can do something different with these robots. So hopefully, like I said, it'll be long time from here, but I can see that happening.
Yeah. And another thing too, like mass production, police force, they can wipe out the whole police force, the military. They can implement soldiers or these robots. Again, they don't have to feed it. They don't have to clothe it.
Yeah.
They don't have to give it benefits. So, I mean, I know we're going like really, really far with it, but just the amount of disadvantages that can come behind this, to me, is mind-boggling. And it's funny because I think it was 3 years ago, I went to Orlando to, I think it was Disney World. And I don't know if you ever seen this before, but I forget the restaurant, but they have robots there that brings your food to you.
Right.
Now, it's not the walking ones. It's just the R2-D2 one that rolls.
Yeah. Yeah.
It comes to you and it says, "Here's your meal," and it gives you the
Uh-huh.
meal. So I think that was in
Yeah.
Florida. That was in Destin.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
robot
Okay.
came to you and they put the tray down and stuff like that. So
Right.
um yeah, it's interesting. It could be cool in a sense when it comes to certain things,
Hmm. But you know
but
what's
just
crazy?
yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was
no,
just thinking that as we sit here and talk about this, and you say we might be seem like we're going overboard, but that's the whole point. If we're thinking like this, you don't think
mhm.
nobody else is that's thinking to that next level. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be somebody out there that's going to be thinking on that extra level. You know what I mean? Mom used to always say that. I think it was mom or dad. If you thinking it, somebody else
Someone
probably
else
thinking it
thinking,
as
yeah,
well. So that's why I know. Because if we sit there just talking about it on our show, you don't think nobody else out there thinking like this, and probably again on another level.
yeah,
So that's how I know that it's coming because it's people that are thinking like us and probably even thinking a little bit more. And
hmm.
it's people out there that's going to be, the ones with the power to do it. So that's how I see that.
I mean, I'm just sitting there as we're talking. I'm like thinking every job you think about can be taken away from a human. I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of what jobs can't the robot can't do if they have the technology and the ability to get them
Mm-hmm.
to function like that. Like seriously, what job can they not do?
Right.
It's
It's
nothing
not
really that they
many.
can't
None.
do.
I don't think it's any. Nope. Because you got these smart houses now where they open the doors and all you do is voice
Hmm.
command and all of that. So yeah, it's crazy. Like where I live at, the access gates, it's all automated. It's no more you drive up. I could be driving from the store, get on my phone, voice activated, open the gate, coming home, and it opens the freaking gate for me. So it's
Wow.
kind of crazy. Remember, I was telling you when I got stuck and I left my
Yeah.
phone at home and I couldn't get back in because of that. You can't even get
Yeah.
inside your own damn gate if you don't have
You
your
can't
phone.
climb over it.
I mean, I could, but I was running late, so I wouldn't try to do all that. But
I
yeah,
mean,
I
what
just
is a
said,
big
fuck
ass
it.
wall away.
No, it's not that high, but
Oh,
brothers
okay.
climbing over a gate first thing they thinking. So so
I'm
that's
just
why I'm
saying,
like,
where there's a
I
will,
just
there's a
consider that.
way.
Huh?
And I said, where there's a will, there's a way. They ain't gonna
Oh yeah,
keep
no
you.
doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
But
What? I think you
oh, I
was gonna
think
say
you were
something.
going to say something. You're doing the same thing you was doing last week. You keep looking over to the right. What's over there?
There's nothing over there. It's nothing that important. I'm moving around a lot. I've noticed I've been doing that a lot, so I
I'm
can't sit
like, is he
still.
looking at the clock again?
No, 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 no. But I mean, this is something to me where I feel like it's not. Some people may say y'all just overthinking it, or it's not overthinking. It's just again, I'm gonna harp on this because that's just my true belief. Is
Hmm.
it's awareness. I'm a firm believer. Again, like I said, I like to be aware of things that's going on, bring it to my attention, let me deal with it how I want to deal with it. And I understand some people, the type of people where I deal with it as it comes. For now, I'm not going to worry about it. So, teach his own. But
Hmm.
this is something, like you said, it's going to affect everyone's job. I don't see any job where it's going to be like, nah, I can never affect that job. So this is something, again, that you want to think about because you go forward in life, when that day comes, what are you going to do? Now you trying to figure it out on the fly. So to me, there's nothing wrong with putting that in the back of your mind and thinking about, okay, this is what I want to do just in case or when it comes, I'll be ready for it. You know?
But you know what's crazy? My thing is that's you got to whoever this is, like Katie said, who's going to be in charge, got to really, really be disciplined. Because I'm just sitting there thinking the temptation. I'm sitting there thinking of bad stuff, what I can do. Like seriously, I'm like thinking like, damn, I can control whatever I want to control if I got robots. Because you're
Right,
not going to be as strong as a robot. They're going to be stronger than
right.
you are. They're
Uh-huh.
going to be smarter. You know what I'm saying? They might be a little bit.
Uh-huh.
You might be a little bit faster and more
Right.
agile. But other than
Uh-huh.
that, I'm seriously like, so if I'm sitting here thinking about the stuff that I could do, can you imagine somebody just sit back and like, damn, boy, I got power in my hand and I can do the hell I want to do. I can control societies. I can control neighborhoods, cities. So for me, that's a hell of a temptation to try to do right with it, opposed to do
Yeah.
wrong with it. So
Yeah.
that person's character is going to come in play, their morality. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's this is this that's crazy. Just to sit back and think about we're finally at this point to where is this could be done. Now I will say this: I don't think they're at the point to where they can do mass production because that's a hell of a lot of technology, and they still got to make it. So that's still a lot of money that you got to put into it, and to be able to put out such a large quantity of equipment and have it function properly, that's going to take years. Now I think we're years beyond a whole bunch of every city in the United States. You know what I'm saying? It's going to have robots in warehouses and retail stores and hospitals. I think we're very, very far from that. I'm just
Hmm.
talking about as far as just the concept of where it can go.
Yeah.
I just think that's something that definitely should be addressed because right now,
Right.
like I said, they have to make up for the money that they're putting in to build it. That's why they cost so much.
Hmm.
So most people are going to have these things are rich people. It's going to
Right.
probably be entertainers, celebrities, athletes,
Yeah.
stuff like that. CEOs. It's not going to be the average Joe. But
Hmm.
then again, somebody might save their life savings just to get one, just because, like you said, we're becoming so lazy.
Well, see, that's what's funny. I need to really make sure when I say this that I'm gonna kind of look into it, but I'm gonna just make a comment about it because I believe that's why they had that strike on the East Coast with the
Hmm.
freight. I mean, the freight on the East Coast because the job workers was, I think, in fear of the jobs being taken by robot, and plus they weren't getting paid enough. So I think that was two parts of it because that was going to affect us because I don't know if you heard about that on the East
Yeah.
Coast, they went on strike for like a week. So
Hmm.
no shipment was coming in, medical, everybody was going to be affected by that because all those workers went on strike. I think only last like 4 days. They
Yeah, it was
finally
4 days.
came to some kind of yeah, but I think part of it was because the workers was in fear, one not getting paid enough, but also how they trying to implement robots to be coming in, taking over a lot of those worker jobs. So it's coming. It's coming. I mean, like I said, where I work at, we getting a whole lot more technology implemented. So it's already on the horizon.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time before it start hitting. But like you said, it's going to be more industrial jobs, warehouse jobs. It's going to be definitely the ones affected first because
Hmm.
being in that business for a while, I do know that that's going to be more of a high productive, efficient workload, and that's going to cost. I mean, save them so much more money. So I promise you, those are going to be the first jobs that's going to be affected, and they will do it because again, they will get that money back because how much more produce and production they're going to get out of these robots. So that's going to be the first jobs that's going to be targeted, and then they're going to slowly work their way to all these other jobs out there.
Now, KJ said, yes, they have ports where it's all robots led, and they only need a few workers to control the robots. She said the ports are in China, of
Yeah,
course. Um,
right.
yeah, I heard something about maybe a month ago back. They were saying, like I said, I don't believe half the stuff I see on social media, but it was supposed to
Mm-hmm.
be claiming that Amazon was robots was taking over, and they had like a picture of people standing outside, and they had a photo or video of the robots inside working.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's not funny, but there's
Yeah.
obviously they just took a video of when people were standing outside and then showed a
Right.
video of robots.
Exactly.
And I'm like, these jokers think they slick. But yeah, so I don't know. I still think it's a ways back because the mass production of those, that's
Mm-hmm.
going to take a hell of a lot. Now, if they make it to the point to where they're just functioning as far as just like pick up, load, put stuff together,
Mm-hmm.
I could see them doing that.
But as far as the robots that's, have cognitive thinking where they can maneuver and do stuff as humans, I just don't see that happening because that's a hell of a lot of equipment. And like I said, to build to have that many in every city, I just don't see that happening, not that fast.
Yeah.
And somebody got to put these things together. Like I said, if robots not putting themselves together, somebody's putting it together.
Right.
So that's something else to think about too. It's like where are these warehouses at that they're building these things?
Somewhere we don't know, obviously, right?
You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's a ways back. Probably another 10, 15 years.
Yeah, that definitely the robot part of it. Yeah, I don't see that. Like I said, in our time, Mom used to say, "I'm blessed to still be here," but I will say this: like the computer part of it, that's already full effect. Because I was at Walmart the other day, and even like HEB, which is the grocery store, they are getting less and less employees that's working there because everything is computer ran. Like if you go to the cash register, they don't even have cash registers no more. Everything is self checkout now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they only have like 2, 3 people in there. So it's hard to find somebody to get help you because they don't even really need nobody no more. So that's where I would say that robot part, maybe actual robots walking amongst us. Yeah, that's a ways away. But as far as the computer part of it, that's already here. And that's going to still take people jobs because you don't need as many workers because you only need 1 or 2 people that are going to know how to program to work the computer. So that part is already here. And if anybody don't think it is, then you don't get out much to shop or go places because all these places nowadays, no, for real, are coming less and less employees because these computers only need 1 or 2 people to kind of help you if it gets to the point where you malfunction something on this doing it yourself. But that part is here already. It's just the robot actual part, that's years to come. But all that other stuff is already here. Like I said, all the crap we just got at our job, that's taking people jobs away because they don't need as many people to do it now because this damn computer is so freaking smart. It does everything. All you need is one person to sit there and freaking push buttons, and the computer does everything else.
Yeah.
So it's all slowly but surely leading away human jobs. That's for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to live long enough just to see what it would look like.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Yeah.
But if they getting out of control, they talking about trying to go back 100 years and no. Let me check out. But if it's peace and calm and stuff, I just would like to see what it would look like. It'd just be cool to see. But with that, I don't know if you got anything else.
No, just like I said at the top, just something to be aware, not to put out fear. Nobody. This is something that's going to come. I mean, everybody teaches his own. If you're a person that says I deal with it as it comes, that's fine. But again, just know that this is stuff that's affecting us now. It's only going to affect us more later. So just stay aware, guys, and just know that what are you going to do to actually be ready for it when on that note, hey, do what you do, be safe about it, and be diligent, and STS. Stay focused, trust your process, stay consistent.
All right. Get ready for the robot takeover, y'all. Until next time, be good. We out.
All right.